I'm Bruce Aisher. In this video, we're looking at echo and delay in Cubase. We've got a piano set up here, and if you have a listen, you can hear it's very dry, as recorded. I'm going to open up the channel setting box, and you can see that we've got these insert slots down the side. I'm going to start using this as a way of exploring the different types of delay. In essence, what delay does, it actually adds a delayed version, and it's all in the name naturally, adds a delayed version of the audio going through the plugin, the insert, back to the original, and you can change that delay time. So let's start with the simplest, the MonoDelay, and open that up. And at the moment, it's set to delay by 1 whole bar. It's synchronized to project tempo. I'm going to turn these off because we don't need these for the moment, and I'm going to turn the feedback down. If I play a note or play a chord, you can hear how we're getting that delay coming back. The mix between the dry signal and the wet mix is set 50-50%. So that means that we get as much dry signal as we get wet signal, the wet signal being the delay. If I turn this sync off and push the delay time to something a bit lower than it would have been before and press the piano, we get that kind of slapback effect. Let's push it up a little bit further. Now I'm going to push feedback up. So at the moment, we're only getting one of these delays coming back. It's just literally a simple delay. It's laying one and keeping the original and then mixing together. If I push feedback up, something interesting happens. I'll press the piano keyboard. And what's happening is the output of the delay, the delayed signal, is being mixed back with the dry, and then it's going back round through the delay a few more times. So it's actually this feeding back the output back into the input. If I push the feedback up even further, you can hear how that feedback, because it's not quite as loud as the original signal, it's slowly decaying each time it goes through. If I lower the feedback back to 0, let's lower the delay time here to something shorter, then push the feedback up. Delay a bit longer. Let's push the feedback right up. And you can hear how the delay is just going round and round and round and round and round. And because it's digital processing, there's not much in terms of there's no analog hiss or noise being introduced into the processing. So it'll actually sound very clean for quite a long time. It could go on for a very, very long time. If we want to tailor the sound of that, we can actually look at adding a bit of these filters. And what these do, they actually filter the low end and the high end of that feedback signal. So I'll push this up again. And what this does is, like the real world, there are losses in the frequency spectrum when the sound is maybe reflected off a wall or something like that. And it means that you actually lose a bit of the top end and lose a bit of the low end. And actually in production terms, it's quite a useful way of making sure that a repeated, like an echo, actually fits better in the context of mix rather than muddying it up. When I don't use those filters, they just sound... You get that feedback pushing the signal round and round again, but actually it tonally sounds the same. So in essence, really, that's the basics of what delays actually do, and they can be used for all kinds of purposes, way beyond just creating this kind of slapback or longer delay effect. And there are a whole bunch of delays in Cubase. The MonoDelay being the simplest one. We could look at something like the StereoDelay. If we open that up, you'll see that in fact what it is, it's really like two versions of the MonoDelay, each one dedicated to different channels. So we can actually have a different delay for left and right. Let's turn the syncing off so it's not connected to the project tempo. Let's move those around a little bit. You can see that there's a bit of filtering going on. They're panned left and right. So they're independent delays from the left and right channels. You can choose where they're going to be positioned in that stereo spectrum. And at the moment, they're panned extreme left and right, so you're getting a different delay in each of those channels. We can also look at another delay like ModMachine or MultiTap Delay or PingPong Delay. And these are really all just variations on a theme. PingPong Delay, if I push that up and the delay time up without it being synced, it basically allows the delay to bounce, it bounces around between the left and right channel. It gives that effect. So quite an interesting way of kind of adding a little bit of spatial element to the mix. You can really push the spatiality of it. You can change the filtering while it's playing. So that ping-pong delay is called that because it basically ping-pong, like a ping-pong game, moves backwards and forwards between the two channels, the left and the right. And we also have more complex delays like the ModMachine that allows you to do some very sophisticated things in terms of the way in which it's routed through the different delays, filtering, modulated and all kinds of other stuff. So you can see you've got the drive section for adding a little bit of distortion in there. You can change the way the filter works. You can change the way in which panning works and the feedback. And it's got this whole interesting, this diagram to show you where stuff is going to be passed through the filters and where the filters appear in terms of the overall delay. So that's an interesting one. Then we also have the one we haven't looked at, is the MultiTap delay. So the MultiTap delay adds multiple delay times to a particular signal. And it allows you to do all kinds of interesting stuff. So let's select this in the sort of basic version. So we're doing it 1 680 millisecond delay. We can increase the number of taps. We can reposition those taps into different places. We can change where they appear in the sound spectrum in terms of left and right channels. We can change all kinds of other stuff. So we can create these kind of irregular delays. Now, interestingly, there are a whole bunch of old tape delay machines, because they position the tape heads in different places, they could actually create this multi-tap, this so-called multi-tap delay effect, using varied positions of tape heads and a moving bit of tape. And this allows you to mimic that, because you can add a bit of dirt to the sound. You can get it to duck the sound, which means that when the dry signal is there, the delay is pushed out the way and it comes back in when the dry signal is gone. So it creates more space when you're mixing, and you can actually add loop effects and other kinds of things as well. So it's very, very complex. And actually the thing here, you can add a different character, so tape style. There's one called Crazy, and they change the tonal characteristics of the sound. So you can see in Cubase, there's lots of different ways you can access delay. There's a bunch of different plugins. We've shown them here in the insert configuration, but of course sometimes you might use them, set up as send effects, whereby you send a bit of the dry signal to a separate delay, and it allows you to process that separately, and then that is mixed quite separately into the main stereo outputs or onto another channel like a group channel.